Okay, so let's talk about the Wusik knob maker that I created. This is going to be used for the Wusik Station version 10, but you can also use to create animated PNG files. You use it with any other program that you want, like SynthEdit or even some skins on Wusik Station version 9, Wusik 8008. So it's just a Windows 64 bits application file. You can check on the extras folder the manual. That's the one that's going to show on the interface. You can use this file if you want to print it, but you don't really need it because it's on the interface. There's a textures folder, which is very important. Those are very large files for the textures. And you just open up the file. And the first thing I want to talk about is that it's always autosave when you close or when you load a new file. So this file is the default file. So if I make a lot of changes in here and go and load another file, it's going to autosave to the default file. So the first thing I'm going to do is save as, and I'm going to create a new file. Testing video. So, okay, I have here some options in my script. So I have my middle cross show, which is shown in here on my preview. And all the image information is going to use 300 by 300, and then you can downscale to whatever size you want to use. In this case, it's the preview size. It's 60 by 60. I'm going to put 80 by 80. I can press F5 to refresh and to recalculate everything. You can work with something larger than 300 by 300. There's an oversample option in the global setup. Here it is, global setup, oversample. So it's going to multiply the 300 by 300 by any value that you put in. So let's say, just so you know, you can right click it and go into insert the text, the code. So if I do oversample by 2, it's going to be 600 by 600. And this can be useful sometimes, but most of the time I just use 300 by 300 and then downscale to whatever size I want. So the background of all the test image is going to be white. And this knob setup, I'm going to explain in a bit, not right now. So what you have to create? You have to create a bottom layer and a rotate layer. You don't really need to create a bottom layer. Just if you want something that says fixed on the layer there. But let's start a new layer, and I'm going to create a rotate layer. And I'm going to draw a circle. So you can see here, draw a square, draw lines, and draw sphere. You can see square, circle, rounded square. Sorry, I'm hitting the microphone sometimes. Okay, let me see it out. Okay, draw circle. And then you have the position on the X and Y, and then the size, width, and height. But I can also do from center 80. And you can see here, round and thickness. The round values is only required for the rounded square, so there's no one here, and thickness 1. So I press F5, it's going to compute, and there's my circle starting from the center, 80 pixels away. But I don't want to use draw, I want to use fill circle instead. Okay, and I want to change the color, so I just go color red, and there's my I'm just pressing F5, okay? And if I press F2, it's going to save. You can see that it's saved, value there. Okay, not very interesting so far. But how about to use some textures? So let's load a texture. To remove the color, I want a brushed metal texture. I want one that is more uniform. Oh, this one is good. So right click it and click here on the texture to close it. So it's already loaded. So if I press F5 now, I have my texture and my circle on the top of the texture. But I want to actually have the texture like the circle. Let me make this circle a bit larger. Much larger. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this sublayer option with blend type. So you can see here, layer setup, sublayer type. So right after texture, I'm going to load a new sublayer, and the type is going to be cut out. And then I have to use end sublayer. And now you can see that what happens is that the circle selected the area from the brushed metal. And it already rotates if you want. Just click on the interface here near the button. Anywhere actually, just click and go up and down, and it's going to rotate. And there's where's the option of the knob setup here goes. So this is the rotation start, rotation end, and the fine movement of the rotation when you move the mouse up and down. And this also defines how many frames is going to be on the exported file. So it's like this. Let me run some math here. So it's minus 2.5 minus 2.4, sorry, 2.4. So it's 4.8, the distance from the left to right movement, and now divided by 0.1. So it's 48 frames. And if I want to increase that, I just go like 0.5. That's going to be double the number of frames. Oops, I inserted a 6 there. Let's remove it. Okay, another thing that the interface has, if I go here on the large knob button and press the right button on my mouse, is going to put the X and Y information there. So that can be useful sometimes. Okay, so now we have the layer rotate. It's rotating the brushed metal I created. But I want now, let's see, what can I do now? I'm going to create a new layer just to keep separate if I want to do, sorry. If I want to do something different, I can have multiple layers there. They just get merged on the end. So let me see. I want a circle. So color black. Draw circle. Just copy from here. Draw circle from the center. Just to add a bit of I forgot the name. Just a line around, and I want to put some shadow. But here's the thing: I don't want the shadow to rotate, so I'm going to go new layer and fix it. The fixed layer goes on the bottom, and again I'm going to use the color black. And I can just go and create a shadow, or I just could just create a circle. fill circle, 8, same size, and going to blur it a bit. So there's an option to blur, is on the layer effects here. So blur kernel size 1 is centered, radius 3, 5 is good, repeat 1 is good. So we can't see right now because it's behind the big blob. Unless I'm doing something wrong. I can see here on the fixed bottom, there goes my guy. And I can just set my layer offset. So layer offset, oops, that layer offset, I selected a texture by mistake. So layer offset is going to be -8 in 8. That's the X and Y. And you can see that the shadows appearing there already. It's a bit too strong, the shadow. I could blur it several times, but the thing is, it's going to look weird if I blur too much. So what I can do is set the opacity. Oh, I'm going to set the layer opacity. Where is it? I forgot. Brightness control here, opacity. Opacity 0.2. Too little. 0.4. 0.6. Yeah, 0.6 looks okay. So the thing is, since this is on the bottom, it doesn't rotate. Only the rotate layer actually rotates. And I'm going to go back to the layer rotates and add another circle. So I'm going to do, and now I need some direction. Fill circle. I'm going to be around here. I want my circle to go. So that's the size. And then the thickness. But I want it to be white. I'm going to keep this separate from the other just for remember where everything is. Okay, so I have my small dot in there. Let me raise my knob setup rate. But the thing is, when I create something to be rotated, I'm rotating from the minus angle to a positive angle. So I need to put my circle in the exact center position. So it should be like 140. The height doesn't matter. And let's see, 20 by 20. Okay, now it's correct, because if I double click here, it's going to center my knob, my bottom, and you can see that it has to be very centered, so the rotation to the negative angle goes correctly, and then the positive angle goes correctly. And I'm going to put it a bit closer to the edge, too much. And I'm going to also draw another line instead of fill, draw. It's just a simple button. This is not the best look, but it's just an idea. Actually needs to be much larger, the hole for the thing. So 30. What I'm doing here is by hand. I'm setting the size to 40. So the center is 150. So 150 minus the required size to make it centered. So it's 30. Yeah, that's correct. So it's just something simple, just to have an idea what can be done. There are some options for the layer effects. Let me see. The blur, the box blur. Bevel just only works on a square, but then we have a gradient circle, and this one can be very handy. So I'm going to try this gradient circle. I have commented the line, so this line is going to be ignored now. And I'm going to try out the gradient circle instead. So circle, the size, I'm going to use the same size. Thickness 2, number of times. So let's check the documentation here, because this one is a tricky one. This will create a circle with multiple lines. So the number of times is the number of lines going to be created. So let's say 10 lines. The position change, -1. The starting alpha, 1, and the alpha chain. Okay, so position should be 1, not -1. So it creates a gradient, but I think this gradient should be like this. And looks a bit better. The number of times, so 20 lines. 4 lines. Oh, it's already, I have to reduce it in here. You have to experiment a bit, because it's going to create multiple circles going into the center of the circle and reducing the rate, which started with the alpha and the number of times. And I put it in the wrong place. So thickness 2 times 40, position change 1. That's correct. Okay. Thickness 1. And then can we try 1.0? Yeah. And 20 times. That doesn't look very good. 2. And start with 0.6. Something like that. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's just testing out to see what looks best. There's a lot of options in here. You can see to do a lot of things. There's several options in the global setup. So let's say I want to hide that cross. Oh, crap. Hide the cross. So there is no cross anymore in there. There's also global blur value. So it's going to blur everything after the merge down. And sometimes this can be useful to make the smaller picture smoother. Because you can see here on the rotate picture, that is very aliasing on the scale down, but with the blur, it doesn't aliase as much. To blur 0, there it is, a bit of aliasing. If I'm not mistaken, by default, always blurs 1. You can see that there is no aliasing. You can also set a background image. So let's see here, background, change the background texture image. So let's see which one you can load. Let's say you want to load something like Grime 2. So let's put it here. Grime 2 JPEG fit. Forgot something. Wait. Opacity 1.0. I think I made something wrong. I have used this before. Opacity, and if it should stretch it to fit. Grime 2. Grime 2 JPEG. It should be loading. I don't know what's loading. Let me save this one. I'm going to show you one that works. The silver knob for customized. It has a background and it's working. So you can see here backgrounds, Tuckle 0.2 and fit. So why my one's not working? Testing video. You need to reload the file. It's just a small bug in the code. It should not need to reload. And also can see here that the square is a bit off. And I actually know why. I'm going to fix that next time. I put 0.2. Yeah, I can see that it's not changed. I have to reload the file. Well, I fix some other time. But okay, let's remove that. Let's remove this. Let's take a look again. So I have the rotate layer. I have loaded texture, a new sublayer cutout, and anything I created in here is going to cut out from whatever was before. Another layer for the rotate, and a layer fixed. So that's just it. You can also, if you want a color, let's say you need a specific color, you can go to options and insert color, which is F9. So let's say I don't want color black here. I want to remove F9. And I want some sort of yellowish color. As soon as I close it, it's going to insert the color. And there it is on the background, the color instead of black. For the shadow. But to be honest, it's not there that I wanted. I wanted it in here on the gradient circle. And it doesn't look good. Anyway, let's say I want to check what it was before I made a change. So let's say I press F10, it shows the last change. You can see the previous images. If I press F10 again, it shows the current one. So you can just check what was the change that you done. Another thing, export a PNG animated. So I'm going to export to my temporary folder. Takes a bit of time, exporter, and let's load and see what it looks like. Here is the PNG file with all the possible rotations animated. In this case, there is a 48 animations, but if I want more, I can go like 02. That's going to be like 300 animations or more. I don't remember exactly. And it's going to be a very large file. Oh, I forgot to do something. I changed it. I have to process first, so it computes, and then I can export the animation. I have to fix that too, so it doesn't really require that. Hmm. Did I do wrong? Knob 1, yes. It will take some time to process. Okay, exporter, that's done. Now it's a very large file. Whoa, too large. Almost 1 MB. So let's calculate what mass I did. So it's 4.8 divided by 0.2. 240. I forgot the name. 240 stitch images of the rotation. That's a lot. So, okay. So this is just a simple video, nothing too much. You can check the other stuff I created to see how I created. This one you can see that is a fixed bottom with a shadow, and there is a brightness layer that is going to shine the bottom like there's some sort of light coming from this direction, from the upper right direction. So the only thing that's rotating is the bottom. There's a lot of options in here, and there's also one that is very important, is the color presets. If you want, you can make one button and change the preset of the color preset, and have the button in another color. So let's say here, select color preset 3, it's blue. I'm going to select 1, it's red, 2, it's green. And where do I define this? Here, preset color 1, add preset color, and add the 3 colors that I'm going to use on my code below. So instead of putting colors in here, just go color 1, 2, and 3. So color 1, color 2, and color 3. So when you have the 3 presets in here, you can change the preset, and it's going to change all these colors. So it's a very handy feature to have multiple types of colors for a button or interface. And I'm not going to go explain all the things that is here on all the options, because you just click it and check what it does. Some doesn't have any information because it's very easy to understand. The railway size and just the new size and position and stuff like that. So just check, just click and check and see what it does. And it should be very easy to understand. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.